everybody. Welcome to the March edition of the AoPTech Connected Educator webinar series. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Heintz, and we have a great program for you tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to start off as we do all good things in prayer. So in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Our Father, may everything we do begin with your inspiration, continue with your help, and reach perfection under your guidance. With your loving care, guide us in our daily actions, help us to persevere with love and sincerity. Teach us to judge wisely the things of earth and to love the things of heaven. Keep us in your presence and never let us be separated from you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. During tonight's webinar, we're going to be featuring a great session by the googly educator, Miss Annabel Dotzman, is going to talk to us tonight about Originality reports, the latest update in the Google Classroom console. That said, after her presentation, I'm going to take a deep dive into one of the coolest tools in the AoPTech STEM lending library, Lego WeDo. I'm going to walk you through the kit, and then we're going to take a look at the accompanying app. So that way you have a really nice familiarity with it and confidence to check it out of our AoPTech lending library. But before we get to that, I certainly want to talk about one of the exciting developments that's actually going on right now in our department, and that is the 2020 AOP EdTech Influencer nominations are now open. And this is a great award for any AOP teacher, administrator, or school staff personnel who demonstrate their dedication and enthusiasm and support for technology in the school community. And so certainly if you know of someone, we really encourage you to please visit bit.ly AOP Award 2020. It is case sensitive, so bit.ly/AOP Award 2020. Go ahead and nominate that person today. That way we can recognize and celebrate their effective use of technology in your school community. And certainly if you are that person, we encourage you to go ahead and nominate yourself. This award is open to past award winners. So certainly if you were one of our award winners in years past, we encourage you to apply again this year. We really like to see returning applicants. So we hope you will check that out at bit.ly/AOP Award 2020. And with that, let's turn it over to Miss Annabel Dotzman, the googly educator.
Hi everyone, Annabel here for AoPTech, and today we're going to take a look at Google Originality reports. This is the latest feature for Google Classroom assignments, and it's a tool designed to check the authenticity of student writing and highlight passages indicating the potential for plagiarism. Originality reports began beta testing in August of 2019, and as of the end of January 2020, it's come out of beta and it's currently rolling out to all domains. So if you haven't seen this feature yet, make sure you're on the lookout. So Originality reports is similar to the subscription-based platform Turnitin, which I know many educators have used, and it's available through Google Classroom. It scans student writing contained in a Google Doc and compares it against web pages and books that are accessible through Google Search or Google Books. An Originality report flags wording that is highly similar to online content and provides a link to the matching external source. So this tool is designed to be used by both teachers and students to help identify possible missing citations, ineffective paraphrasing, and potential and unintentional plagiarism. And because students are able to run their own reports before submitting their work, it does give them ownership in reviewing their work prior to submitting their writing pieces. For teachers, they get their own reports for each student submission, which presents the opportunity to conference with the student and give effective feedback in regards to appropriately citing their work referenced in their writing pieces as to avoid possible plagiarism. So let's head over to Google Classroom and see how this feature works. So to activate this feature, you're going to create a Google Classroom assignment, just as you normally would. And if you notice down here at the bottom, if your domain has already received this feature, you'll see the Originality Reports checkbox right here at the bottom. So as soon as I start typing in my assignment information, I'm able to go ahead and click that checkbox, and the feature is already turned on. You want to let your students know, perhaps in the instructions area, that Originality Reports has turned on. And so one of the requirements that students need to make sure that they do is that they create their writing piece and turn in their writing piece in a Google Doc. So Originality Reports will only scan student work that is contained in a Google Doc. So it's important that your students know that you've turned on the feature so that they make sure that their work is in a Google Doc. You also want to let them know that they should be running their own Originality report. So you want to make sure that you turn that ownership back onto them prior to submitting their final piece. So perhaps whether you tell them in a whole group situation during class time, but also perhaps maybe in the written instructions that they can refer to as they're going through their assignment. So that's all there is to it as far as turning on in the Originality Report feature. So this feature can be turned on by a teacher for up to 3 assignments per classroom. So if you have multiple sections and multiple classrooms, each of those classrooms can have up to 3 assignments with this feature turned on. And on the students' end, students are able to run 3 reports for each assignment. So perhaps when they compose their rough draft, they may want to run a report. Then when they do some edits, they can run another report to check their progress. And then finally, that 3rd report could be run when they're about to submit their final draft. So the last thing you want to make sure you do is go ahead and either schedule or assign this assignment, and then your students can get started with their work. Now, I've already created earlier an assignment that we're going to take a look at in more detail, and I'll show you what the Originality reports look like on both the teacher end and the student end. So here I have my sample writing assignment with Originality reports turned on. I'm going to take a look at my assignment, and if you're a frequent user of Google Classroom, this panel looks familiar. Your students are all here on the left side, and their work in progress is, so you can easily go into a student document and see where they're at. So I'm going to take a look at one of my students and check in with them to see their progress. And at this point in time, I can generate an Originality report. So when you open up a student document, it opens it in the grading panel. And over here on the right-hand side, you'll notice now where it has Check Originality. I'm going to click on it right now. Originality reports typically take under a minute to generate, and the results will be shown here on the right-hand part of the screen, whether or not there's no flagged passages, or in this case, there's one flagged passage that I'm going to click on here to get some more information. And it will, for each flagged passage, it will give you a link for further information. So I'm going to click on this, and it will bring over the student writing in the top box. And then at the bottom, we'll show you the web content so that you can compare and contrast the student writing versus the web content. And it also provides you with a link to the source content on the web if you want to take a look at the source document. So at this point, this student looks like he paraphrased some information from the book. You can decide whether or not a conversation is needed as to whether or not revisions need to be done or not. So let's take a look at another student writing. And in this student paper, we have 3 flagged passages. So I'm going to click on that to get some more information. And as you can see, there's a lot of student writing here that is highlighted. So we're going to take a look. There's 3 flagged passages. And so I'm going to take a look at the first one. And so we can see here that there is a big chunk of student writing highlighted. So again, at the top box is the student writing. And then if I scroll down, I can see the web content that matches almost verbatim. So it looks like this could be an instance where the student copied and pasted into their work. If I take a look at the next one, and again, it looks to be the similar situation. So at this point, you may need to have a conversation with the student as to the types of revisions and editing that they need to do before submitting this assignment. So you can see that this is a fairly simple tool, an effective tool that can be used to help assessing and evaluating student research and the writing. It doesn't replace the teacher's role in assessing student work, as it doesn't evaluate the formatting of citations or verifies any source of the text, but it's a great tool to help students when they're doing their writing assignments. So now we'll head over to a student account and take a look at what Originality Reports looks like on their end. So here we are in our student classroom, and we're going to head to the classwork tab and locate this assignment, which is right here. So we're going to go in and view the assignment. And it tells you, if you look on the right-hand side, students will see Originality Reports are available. But first, what they need to do is add or create. And again, Originality Reports are only available through a Google Doc. So we want to make sure that our students are creating their assignments through a Google Doc. So now that the student doc is created, we can go in and students can get started on their writing piece. Once students have completed a rough draft or at any point in their writing piece, students can run their Originality Reports. They can close out their assignment and then they can go ahead and run Originality Reports. It will tell them how many they have available. They're able to run 3 for each assignment. And so when they're ready to run it, they can click Run. And once the Originality Report is available, students are able to view their progress. At this point, the Originality Reports will then be the exact same format and will give the exact same information as we saw earlier from the teacher side. So the students will see the exact how many passages are flagged. They'll be able to see the links of where their writing matches the web content, and everything else is the same. So teachers and students are able to see Originality Reports and the content in the same fashion. So just a few things to note as we wrap up today's session. Originality Reports can be turned on after students submit their work. However, students won't be able to generate their own reports until their work is returned to them. So if this is the case, simply return the student work back to them, have them resubmit their work after they've generated the Originality Reports on their end. Students can run up to 3 reports for any given assignments, and reports are viewable for up to 45 days. They're deleted after that, so if you need to generate another report, you can do so within the grading tool. So I hope you choose to give this tool a try, because when it comes to writing papers, one of the most important skills we look to develop within our students is keeping their work authentic. I think many would agree that this is crucial within the writing process, and with technology and the ease of obtaining information on the internet, this goes hand in hand with developing good digital citizenship as well as digital literacy skills. If you have any questions or need more information on this or any other EdTech tool, please feel free to drop us an email at techcoaches@archvilla-oce.org. For AoPTech, I'm Annabel Dotzman. Thanks for watching and joining us today.
Annabel, thank you for sharing with us the latest in Google Classroom updates. I think Originality Reports are really going to change the game for a lot of teachers out there. So if you use them in your classroom, Tell us about them in the comments below. Let us know as we continue to grow our professional learning community. So thank you for that great tool, Annabel, and let us know how you're using it in your classroom. So now we're going to toss this over to myself. We're going to take a look at the Lego WeDo kit. Full disclosure, I recorded this video a little earlier in the summer, so the beard has changed a little bit during that time frame. So we'll take a look at some of the differences. That's the downside of trying to work ahead and get these done, is some things tend to change a little bit. So pass it over to you, Aaron. Hey everybody, Aaron here with AoPTech, and today we're going to take a look at one of our really cool things in our lending library, and that's going to be Lego's WeDo kit. And I made my little bee here. You see my little flower and the bees coming around to pollinate and collect the pollen from the flower. So we're going to talk about this and this kit, and I'm going to take you through all the resources and the website and the app, and that way you'll have a great understanding of how to use this really cool resource in your classroom. Okay, so first I want to take you through and look at what's inside the kit. So I took the cover off, and we have on the front cover here, this is a little layout, a little diagram of all the different pieces. This right here, this is a really helpful little tool for the kids to measure how long something is. So to count 1, 2, okay, this is a 2, 3, 4, etc. Down here we have the different sensors and motors. You have a light sensor and then a tilt sensor. This also has a capacity for shaking. We have a small motor, and then we have Lego Smart Hub kit. So I want to take you through our resource document, and this is really important to take a look at prior to making your reservation. A lot of great resources in here, and I'm going to kind of go through them just briefly, just so you have an idea of what comes with this Lego WeDo kit. So this is really geared for 2nd to 4th grade. Obviously, depending on your kids, there's some wiggle room up or down on that as well. I think older kids could definitely find enjoyment and use out of this as well. Speaking from personal experience, I had a lot of fun building and exploring all the features. There is also free software that comes with the Lego WeDo kit, and it works on any device. So here we have a little drop down: Windows, Mac, Chromebook, iPad, Android. It works. I have tried it on my Chromebook and my Windows PC without any issue. So really nice software. Next coming down this list is the Toolbox document, and that's Lego's name for it. A very helpful list to go through, again, prior to reserving. So first thing you want to do is make sure you can install the software, make sure the kids can install the software. Get that done first in case you have to reach out to your IT support. Then take a look at this Toolbox. And this Toolbox link is really helpful because it explains what the programming language is that now Lego uses a block-based coding. But some of them, I mean, they use little pictures. It's helpful they give you some exact definitions of what sequences are. They explain basic programming principles, and they also explain what each little block does, and that can be really helpful. As we scroll down here, the build section, here they identify the names of all the parts. So if, for example, the different types of gears they use. We have worm gears, bevel gears, rack and pinion, and they also identify what lessons use those, so really helpful. And I found that this is just helpful in terms of you knowing the correct terminology when I'm explaining to students what part I want them to use and how that fits with it. Back to our resource document, Lego has done an incredible job of really developing some nice lessons, and they've put them in a lot of different places. And in some cases, that is really good that they're all over. It can also be a little confusing because they're in multiple places. So I wanted to combine every WeDo lesson to one place. So this link right here will take you to this search page. And here we see all 35 WeDo lessons. So these are all the lessons that use the WeDo system. Lego has multiple other product lines. These lessons are, I know it says 400 plus. It's only, these are just for the WeDo. Now, all of these lessons, except for 3, are included in the app. And so I'll jump into one and I'll show you a little bit of what the app looks like in a few minutes. They're all there except for the three which are all at the very, very bottom. And it's these three right here. And they identify them as the maker ones. So we have make a sound machine, make a dancing robot, and make a life hack. So these are great lessons to take a look at for a STEM club or after school club, or if you're doing a makerspace activity in your classroom. Great lessons to look at, which you can't find anywhere else. I'm not sure why they left these three out. And so that is the every WeDo lesson link right here. Now, Lego has put together really kind of two main curriculum packs. The first one geared towards science, and it really covers everything from life, science, earth science, space, physical science, engineering. They say over 40 hours of instructional content. They are written to the next generation science standards, which is really awesome, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. There's a second guide, which is not as big, focusing on computational thinking. That includes 4 guided projects, and I have direct links to both of those right here. So let's take a look. We have the science one, and I'm actually going to start. So we have the science curriculum pack right here. And they did a really nice job. We can see the table of contents, introduction. They even focus on classroom management and guided. Projects all come with assessments. And I want to jump down to page 79. So we're going to look at this robust structures, project 3. Now I'm in the curriculum guide right now, and that's important. So as I come down here, the one thing that I think is really nice is they have written out the full text of the next generation science standard. Now, this same lesson is available both on the website and on the app. But on the website, they do not write out the full standard. And as a teacher, if I want to be able to cut and paste this into my lesson plans, I want the full standard. I don't want to have to go and find the full standard. So I think that this teacher's guide is super helpful. Now, we notice that in addition to the next generation science standards, they also include the Common Core standards for ELA. That's really great as well. So a little cross-curricular action, that's incredible, especially given the fact that this is geared for elementary students, for teachers who are potentially teaching multiple subjects. So here they give you a good breakdown of the lesson, how to differentiate, vocabulary. We have an assessment rubric built in, an ELA assessment rubric built in. They've included a video, but the video is only located, it's located in 2 places. It's located in the app and online, but not in the teacher's guide. But they do have some screenshots here with some guided questions for note-taking or for discussion. Come along here, we have the entire lesson and the share phase at the end. And they even provide an example of possible assessment ways of sharing a student's build. So I'm going to jump to the same lesson from this 30. Here we have the robust structures page. I already have it open. So now I'm looking at, I went from the teacher guide to now the website. And the advantage of that is here we have this video. So if you wanted to start off the Lego WeDo lesson with everyone watching the video together and then maybe having a discussion or writing stuff down in their journals, you can do that. Certainly the kids could watch the video on their own within the app. I'll show you that in a second. And now here we have the standards, and now these are the same standards that we saw in this teacher guide, but you'll notice the fact that in the teacher guide, these standards were fully written out versus on the website, they're just listed by their standard code. Now on the website, they also do have a student worksheet. Now this is also built into the app itself, and so again, we'll talk about the app when we get there, but if you want to move to more of a paper-based system, you could download and print this out. Same questions, same breakdown, building instructions that they have in the teacher's guide. It's really just the difference of the video, the standards, and then the worksheets if you want the worksheets in paper form. Coming back to our guide here, we have the computational thinking guide, which is the next one. And so we can see here, They've really broken down into what is computational thinking, so a great way to introduce this. And then after they explain computational thinking, then they move into coding. So we see loops and functions, and we see they have 4 lessons, 4 guided projects here: Moonbase, grabbing objects, send message, and volcano alerts. These are available both on that list of all the 35 projects. I believe they're at the top, actually. There you go. Grabbing objects, Moonbase. So those are all available there as well, and these are also available in the app. So as we scroll down, we can see the fact that these are aligned by both the next generation science standards, as seen here, and if I keep scrolling, we get to the, keep going, computer science standards as well, the CSTA standards that are aligned, which is really nice. And so these are, you can drop them into your lesson plans right from here. Coming back to our overview document. So I also provided a direct link to building instructions. These again are available in the app, they're available in the teacher guide, they're available in the individual lessons. But if you just wanted to build maybe one piece of equipment, you don't want to have to go through the whole lesson per se, you can jump right to the building guide, and that will provide you, if I want to make the fan or the satellite or whatever, you can jump right to the building instructions for those things. Again, these are also available directly within the app. And I wanted to take you through the WeDo app. So this is I just started it now. I'm running this on my Windows 10 PC. I've also run this app on my Chromebook. In both instances, the app functioned the same way. It's also available on Mac and Linux and a whole bunch of other platforms, mobile as well. So it starts off with this little welcome screen telling you how to connect things. We're going to just keep going. And then you can either click on Get Started or X out. So it brings you to this kind of main screen right here. Now, I'm pretty sure that the Teacher's Resource button exists there for kids as well, so just be aware of that. There's not like there's any answers or anything in there, and I mean, they can click on it, but it's not going to be anything really exciting for them. And then we have a link to classroom projects. So this is the 32 projects plus the 3 that were on the website that I covered in the previous AoPTech WeDo Resources video. So here are all so you can have kids jump directly to a particular one. And we have it is organized science, and then these kind of getting started. These getting started activities really kind of teach you like how the different sensors work and what they do. And it's all based off of a really simple build. So you can move through these getting started resources pretty quickly. I'm going to jump back to the home screen up top here. So we clicked on this classroom projects button. Now as a teacher, this teacher's resource button, most of these are going to take you to external links on the website, or they're going to offer you PDFs to download. Now while I'm kind of up in this general section, up here the cogwheel, I found kind of the hidden teacher guide in there so obviously if you want to change your language, introduction, but if you come down here to teacher guide, this is where I found that computational thinking teacher's guide. I didn't find that online, certainly not in this form, and maybe I just didn't find the right link, but I found it here. And then, so these other guides are also available online. This button here would be if you want students to jump to a specific project. This button, if you were wanting them to work through at least the getting started section on their own. Certainly some options. Coming down here, you can click on, this is kind of your blank working space here. This is all block-based coding. You can drag and drop different boxes. I highly recommend the Toolbox guide because it actually explains what a lot of these do, how they work, how to use them. So you can make loops and stuff like that. You can have it go like that, and then there's a stop button. Over here, it uses Bluetooth to connect to the Smart Hub. You turn it on. I've had it work really, really well. Again, you just have to make sure the Bluetooth is on the device. That's going to be something that as a teacher you might want to check just to make sure. Sometimes the IT departments disable that function, so you want to test that prior to rolling it out to the class just to make sure that everything syncs and connects, and make sure you're testing it on a student device, not necessarily your teacher computer. That's going to have different settings, possibly. Coming up here, looking at this menu up above, we have our home button. We have now this, so if I jump into a project, it will take me kind of to that. So let's look at this robust structures one, because that was one that we looked at on the other video. So here I have the grade level, the time, the skill, what it's going to be about. Now this is, students see this as well. So now this video right here, this is the same video that's on the web version of this lesson plan. Remember we talked about there's the web version and the PDF, and there's some differences in terms of like the standards, whether they're written out or whether they're not, and also whether the videos. So you could watch the video as a class, or you could have the kids watch the video individually, kind of fused there. And they can click through this. Here we have this initial kind of getting started activity, and it says share your ideas using the documentation tool. That is this little pen right up here. And this opens up and it gives them an option of an image, adding a video file, or adding, now, if I click on either one of these, it's just going to open up, it's basically the Windows box looking for my video file or looking for the image. The document will bring up and I can type. This little button right here is going to take us back to this home screen. Go back in that lesson. Yeah. We have, this jumps us to how to build the individual models. I provided a link. Now these are some of these are just for fun. I mean, we see like the garbage truck and stuff like that. So a lot of different models. We have a whole library here of how to do things. So this is a great resource. So this is a good place maybe to point the kids in a direction if they're looking for additional help or additional assistance. Some really cool, send random messages, parallel tasks, some really cool ones as we get further down in kind of the more advanced category. I mentioned the fact that there is this documentation tool that you can insert images and pictures from. Well, this is where you can get some of those pictures. The device's webcam, now right now the webcam is being used by this video recording, so that's why it's not showing up. But I can take single pictures, I can take videos, so that's really exciting. I can also record an audio note. Now you can use this, the robot can actually, there's a sound feature, this little sound icon. I believe if you choose sound 0, it's the recorded sound that you make. Now I haven't tested this, but it's a really cool little feature right there. And then last we have the help button over here. Projects down here, you can rename them, which is nice. You can copy and you can delete them as well. So what I did is I brought up a project that I had previously made, and this is going to control this little bee bot. This does have sensors in it right here. I am not coding these sensors right now. I could have it where when it sees the bee, as the bee spins around, it will stop. For me right now, I just wanted to code the motor just to spin. So to set this up, I'm going to turn on my little smart hub here, and you'll see it blinking. And then I'm going to click right here. It identifies it. Now, I haven't tried this in a classroom environment with multiple people, so you may want to have one student at a time connect just so they don't see 10 different bricks. Now, it doesn't ask me to, okay, there you go. It asked me to rename it. I'm going to say not now. It's connected. I can name it. I see the battery life. If I connected to the wrong one, I can disconnect that button right here. So now that I see a little green circle in this part, I have the stop button down here. I have the start button right here. So when I hit start, my little bee spins around. Round and round she goes, and then I can hit stop. Then once I'm done, I can disconnect, and that's all you have to do. You don't have to actually turn off it'll automatically power off, which is really nice. And then I can come back to the home screen. So this has been a little tutorial. The Lego WeDo app. This is available from the software downloads page on the Lego site, which is linked in the Google Doc, which is linked below. So check that out. Check out the resources on the AoPTech Lending Library page. I hope this has been very helpful for you. Aaron for AoPTech. Have a great day.
And with that, we conclude this month's AoPTech Connected Educators webinar. Thanks for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed this jam-packed webinar and that you feel encouraged to share this with colleagues and friends that you feel that would benefit from our AoPTech webinar. Just a few AoPTech reminders before we leave you this month. First, nominations are now open for our annual influencer program. This recognizes teachers, administrators, and supporting staff for outstanding technology integration into their fields. You can nominate yourself or others. Information about this program and nomination forms can be found on our website, www.aoptech.org. Additionally, registration is open for our final Tech Teacher and Teacher Champion PLC meetings of the year. They are March 30th and April 1st for elementary educators. This is open to technology teachers, media specialists, and teacher champions who are leading the way in their communities for tech integration. You're free to join us for a wonderful morning of collaboration and learning together. Registration for this event can be found on our website, aoptech.org, as well. As always, feel free to subscribe to AoPTech right here on YouTube for our latest videos and webinars. And follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram to stay up to date with all of our happenings. We look forward to seeing you next month for the conclusion of our webinar series. And until then, have a great day.